Okay, so this is our drum sander, and so the drum is in here, and this is the one where I have the most errors in the shop, and it's not that people get hurt as my machine, and this is the one where I get the most angry. If you don't do what I tell you, you will mess up my machine, and I will yell and scream and call you names, because I hate it when you don't do this. So what happens is that whenever this machine is set up, same with the planer, once it's set up for a group, everybody has the same wood thickness. If somebody else comes in and doesn't reset it, just tries to join the group, and they shove their board in, it will be too low, and it will burn through the paper, it will burn through the Velcro, and then this thing will be shut down for a week while I order new Velcro and reinstall it and clean it, and it makes me really angry. So make sure that if you are running this machine, or you are in a group with this machine, that it is set first for your group. And so the only way that you can set it for a group is if everybody went through the planer at the same time. So if your whole group went through the planer at the same time, then your group can go through the sander at the same time, because everything will be the same thickness. Otherwise, you can't. You have to wait till that group is done with the sander before you do it. Okay? So this machine is fairly safe. It has a couple of hazards you need to watch out for. Number one, there is an opening gap right here underneath of this, and if you stick your finger underneath of this belt right here while it's running, it will cut your finger off. So don't do that. That's a bad thing, just so you know. So sometimes I've had students get their pants in. You've got to be like rubbing against this tool for that. So that's a rule. Don't rub against my tools. Okay? You look like a bad dog. So none of that should be happening. Okay? So keep away from the tool. So over in here, there's a motor and a chain. It's inside of this. These are the guards. Okay? So if the guards are not in place, do not run this tool like any other. Do not reach inside. So just like on the planer, if you reach your hand in under here and your wood comes and pinches you between there, it not only hurts a lot, it can take the skin right off your fingers or cut your finger off. Okay? It has a lot of pressure. So keep your hands out from inside of the tool when it's running. Same with all tools, never look inside a machine when it's running, but this one has one exception. We can lift the back lid here to look inside to see when we're setting it, not while we're sanding. Okay? So the belt is right here, and so when we set this, we're going to start on the other side here with our wood. So we've got a piece of wood that we're going to put into it, and this is how we raise and lower it. Same as we did before, only this one doesn't say up and down, it says thinner and thicker. Okay? So we use thicker so that we can lower the tape down so we get our piece in. Okay? Looks like it needs some grease. So when you set this up, you lower this down. So your wood will go underneath here and slide without hitting the feed rollers. Okay, so you can slide it through easily. And then you lower it until it catches the feed roller underneath. Okay? So once it catches that feed roller, then you're going to be slowly close to being in the compartment. This is where you set the conveyor belt speed. It's a variable speed. So when you're setting this, turn it on really slow so it barely moves. And you can lift the lid, and then you lower it while the wood is underneath of the sander until the sander starts to turn. So you see it's not turning? When it comes in contact, it'll start to turn. Then you back it up just slightly so it stops and bring it down one more time so you know you're right there at the top. And that's where you begin your settings. Okay? Now, on the planer, your maximum adjustment was a half turn. On this, you can only move it an eighth of a turn. That's the maximum adjustment on here. Okay? And before you adjust it, typically your wood should go through 3 to 5 times before you make an adjustment. Okay? So with the sander, the pressure's coming down on the wood, and so it's not cutting any specific depth like the planer. So as the pressure comes down, it just takes off as much as it can get when it goes through, but the next time it comes through, it does the same thing. Okay? So it'll continue to sand, and when you don't have enough pressure on it, it's just kind of weak sand, so then you'll change this here. So you turn it off and on here to turn on the roller. So there's a green button for on and a red button for off. Pretty simple, okay? So as you're running this, the most common accident that I actually have on this tool is people don't pay attention. They get their fingers under here And then when the wood gets under the feed roller, it'll pinch your finger under there. It won't cut it off. It just hurts. Okay? And so if that happens, the first thing you want to do is try to jerk your hand out of there because it's a lot of pressure. But you just raise this up immediately as quick as you can, if you can't jerk your hand out, and immediately we want to turn off the conveyor so it doesn't keep trying to feed you through. Because your hand will get stuck and it won't keep going through, but the conveyor will just keep rubbing the skin off your finger and it hurts. Okay? It's not super dangerous, you don't have to go to the hospital or anything like that. Okay? Alright. Unlike the planer, in this one you can run boards side by side. And so you can run a bunch of boards at one time, and sometimes one will be higher and the board will just kind of sit in there and it won't keep going. The other one's going and that one's kind of sitting and kind of coming back and it ends up taking a trench in your board. So you've got to watch to make sure that they keep going, otherwise you'll do damage to your board. But it's totally okay to run them side by side as you put them through here. Okay? The other thing that happens, these bolts stick out here on the end and they're a little sharp. People don't pay attention, they run by and hit them with their leg. I've torn several pairs of pants that way. So just make sure you're out and around pretty far as you go around so that you don't get your leg caught there. You can cut your leg with that. Other than that, I haven't had any accidents on this. It's a pretty safe machine. But I have had a lot of belts torn up and Velcro, and I get really angry about that. If you can't remember how to set it, come get me. I'll give you help. I don't mind. It's not minus points because you asked for help. Okay? Just come ask it so you know. Okay? So again, you turn on the conveyor without the sander on. You set up your wood so your wood is lower than the feed roller, and then you raise the table until it catches the feed roller, and you open the lid while it's going through very slowly, and you lower it down till the sander starts to turn. Okay? This machine and the planer should always have the dust collector on. So you shouldn't run it without the dust collector. This creates a really fine dust that's really bad, that's into your lungs. It's not good. So you don't want to run it without the dust collector running. So you always have to have that on when you're running this tool. Okay? And on this one, if you're trying to get a lot of wood off, so like you're trying to get it down a 1/16 of an inch, you want the conveyor running really slow. If you're on your final passes and you're trying to get scratches out, you want the conveyor at the highest speed. Okay? So on the planer, the conveyor is right here on the planer, so the same deal. Okay? And we want to go a maximum of a quarter turn on the planer. Feed rollers. Okay? And the planer has feed rollers, but this has a conveyor belt. They're a little different. So quarter turn is the maximum on this one, and half turn on the adjustment. On the sander, the adjustment is 1/8 of a turn. Okay? And you can use the full variable speed. So sometimes you go fast and other times you'll go slow, depending on what you're trying to achieve. So if you want to remove a lot more wood on a pass, you want your conveyor going slower. If you want to get a finer finish, a cleaner finish, you have less hand sanding to do, then you want it going faster. Okay? We usually use 2 types of sandpaper on this. We have 100 grit and 220. Okay? The 100 grit is mostly for removing wood, the 220 is for getting a finer finish. It does not sand well enough that you can avoid all hand sanding. Okay? But you can limit the hand sanding as you do that. Okay? Any questions on this one? Perfect.